the choice has already been made for you. Do you often end up purchasing items you didn't mean to? Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you unexpectedly agreed to something you didn't want? Do you sometimes feel like someone else influences or controls your decisions? Chances are you answered yes to all three. And today, we will explore why this happens. Protect yourself from manipulation by developing your awareness. Specific persuasion methods impact our conscious and subconscious, leading us to accept offers that may not be in our best interest. Ironically, even a minor alteration in the phrasing of a question can convince us to agree to something we would otherwise reject. In this summary, you will learn about the power of persuasion, including how to use leverage effectively. Awareness of manipulation and tricks can shield you from unwanted purchases, safeguard your interests, and fend off deceptive sales tactics. Moreover, by understanding the principles of persuasion, you can apply them ethically in your life. Thus, you will achieve your goals more quickly, effectively argue with opponents, and enhance your work interactions. Intrigued? Don't delay any longer. Dive into this life-changing research and harness the power of persuasion. Key point 2. What dictates your responses? Here's a fascinating concept worth exploring. Does society's development lead us to think less before making decisions? At first, this thought may seem controversial. However, the truth is that our minds adapt to the fast pace of modern life by automating our reactions and choices. Although this approach saves us time and effort, it could also be our Achilles heel, allowing others to take advantage of us for their own benefit. Take a day off from decision-making to avoid impulse purchases. Now let's explore a few fundamental principles for influencing our choices, with real-life examples of implementing them. Firstly, modern society adheres to the stereotype that expensive equals high quality. As a result, the problem of low sales can sometimes be solved, not by a decrease in price, but rather by an increase. The cost of a product directly correlates with how consumers perceive its value. It is how the power of self-persuasion works. Secondly, people love getting a good deal. This appeal is why items sell so well during sales. Sales and discounts create a sense of luck and satisfaction as customers feel they're saving money. This phenomenon is the contrast effect in action. Also, we all like having things with a good reputation in society. Psychologically, we strive to be part of social circles that are pleasant to us, and we willingly acquire attributes that are popular among them, even if we do not need them. In this way, our herd instinct manifests itself. And lastly, we are more inclined to those we have previously supported. As a result, those who have previously responded to a request from a particular organization to repost on social networks are more likely to remain loyal consumers of this company. That is how the principle of commitment works. So, to make your product or service more appealing to buyers, you need to raise its price significantly. Offer a 10 to 20% discount on the increased amount. Give your product to influencers. Hold a charity auction for your clients. Key point 3. The reciprocity and balance rule. Deep in our psyche, there's the principle of reciprocity. It is as powerful as it is simple. We want to give back to those who do something for us. Often this desire guides our actions and decisions. For example, what would you do if you received a Christmas card from a stranger by email? You would most likely send a return greeting even if you didn't know the recipient. The vast majority would do the same because we often automatically respond to what we receive from others. But what exactly drives our urge to reciprocate? It is our innate desire for balance in social interactions. When someone helps us, gives us a gift, or performs a favor, we feel internal pressure to restore the balance by giving back. Otherwise, we may experience a nagging sense of duty and guilt, crafting a whole field for manipulation to flourish. Ask yourself whether the feelings pushing you to decide are constructive or destructive. Imagine a Boy Scout approaching you and asking you to buy expensive tickets for an event. You decline the offer, but the Boy Scout then proposes to sell you a pack of cookies, which costs much less. Psychologically, it will be more challenging for you to refuse the second offer, Since your opponent has already conceded by offering a cheaper option, you may feel inclined to reciprocate and make a concession. Consequently, a few minutes later, you may find yourself holding a pack of cookies that you don't even like. Many businesses use cognitive tricks to attract potential customers. They offer free samples, discounts, and invitations to private events to create a sense of obligation in their clients. In turn, this leads to a sense of loyalty toward the company and often results in the client making a purchase. So, to benefit from the reciprocity rule, try offering to help before asking for a favor, returning with a less demanding request if rejected, showing small gestures of affection to those you plan to seek assistance from. Key point 4. I like you, but not really. One of the most effective levers of influence is the liking principle, as people tend to trust those they like more than others. You can significantly increase your sales by providing clients with a personalized, enjoyable, and respectful experience. Let's figure out what makes certain people and things appealing to us. Our minds seek comfort in familiarity. We consider what we know as safe and prefer it. This is why we start viewing regular TV hosts as our friends. We all appreciate compliments, even if they are insincere or generic, as they make us feel valued and special. We will likely trust people who share our values, interests, and hobbies. Even minor similarities provide a sense of common identity and a strong connection, contributing to further interaction. Shared goals and collaborative work foster camaraderie, reliability, and mutual support, quickly turning colleagues into companions who inspire trust. Businesses can take advantage of all these aspects to their advantage. For example, when shopping for a new phone, a salesperson may compliment your choice, bring up a shared interest, and appear to advocate for your best interests in negotiations with management to get the best price. All this increases the likelihood that you'll ultimately purchase from that store. One way to avoid falling prey to such a technique is to reflect on whether your feelings of liking towards someone are developing too quickly, and consider whether a manipulation tactic may be at play. Feeling a sense of trust and favor toward those you like is normal, but it is crucial to be cautious of people who may exploit this tendency. By being aware of the liking principle and remaining conscious of it, you can make more impartial decisions based on your genuine preferences. Did you know Joe Girard got into the Guinness Book of World Records as the greatest car salesman, thanks to sending postcards to 13,000 clients monthly, simply stating, "I like you." Key point 5. Striving to blend in with the crowd. The social proof principle is a prevalent phenomenon in our society. It suggests that we typically mimic the behavior, style, and thought processes of those around us. We often aspire to be like the majority and follow their lead. Here is a simple but illustrative real-life example. Some restaurant managers wanted to boost the sales of specific menu items without changing their recipe, cost, or presentation. Their strategy was simple but effective. They simply labeled these dishes the most popular in the restaurant. This minor change resulted in a 20% increase in visitors who ordered these menu items. This example shows that sometimes, to increase the demand for something, we just must demonstrate that it is popular. Why do we feel the need to conform? Let's examine the reasons. We avoid making difficult decisions in times of uncertainty. Instead of taking responsibility, we look for guidance in the decisions made by others before us. We believe most people follow the most proven, reliable, and safe path. We often avoid making choices due to fear of regret, trusting others instead. There's no expedient to which a man will not resort to avoid the actual labor of thinking. Robert B. Cialdini. However, there is a downside to the principle of social proof. Firstly, reviews can be fabricated for the benefit of businesses. Secondly, mass thinking can sometimes be destructive and lead to tragic consequences. We saw examples of the latter when, at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, people started panic buying medicines and enormous amounts of food supplies, or massively withdrawing money from bank accounts, throwing the financial system into crisis. How can we resist social confirmation without losing a level-headed approach? Consider different opinions. Do not accept the most popular as the truth. This method will allow you to scale your vision. Critique persistent advice and recommendations received from outside sources. Double-check the information yourself. It may take you more time and effort, but in the end, it will be a valuable asset to you. Embrace your uniqueness. It holds your true strength. Key point 6. Don't worship false idols. The final principle we will discuss is one we have all experienced firsthand. It is known as the authority rule. Its core stems from how we often rely more on expert opinions than on our own reasoning and intuition. This pattern of thinking and behavior is deeply ingrained in human nature and shaped by our cultural surroundings. Never put your idols on a pedestal. We are all just people. Why do we defer to expert judgment? It is the path of least resistance. Due to the overload of conflicting research, relying on authoritative opinions is more convenient than understanding controversial issues alone. Evolutionarily, our psyche is configured to seek leadership. Historically, this tactic has allowed people to survive and remain safe. From childhood, we've learned to trust, respect, and listen to authority figures, such as elders, teachers, coaches, and educators. However, blind submission to authority can lead to tragic events and cruelty. During wartime, nations rallied around fanatical dictators and tyrants and attacked other states. Luckily, we can see the adverse effects of authoritarianism in more minor everyday things. For example, sometimes people resort to severe dietary restrictions and unhealthy diets because some fashion bloggers promote such lifestyles. Therefore, it's crucial to evaluate authority figures before following their advice critically. To do this, analyze two determining factors: their experience and reliability. Ask yourself 2 questions. Does this expert have sufficient credentials and qualifications? Is this expert candid and impartial or pursuing their own selfish goals? Remember that genuinely trustworthy authorities do not abuse their power and are willing to admit their mistakes and weaknesses, leaving room for further development. A foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds. Robert B. Cialdini. Conclusion. So we have examined some of the most common and effective levers of influence we encounter daily. Now you know how to recognize them and protect your interests. Additionally, you can apply the principles of influence to achieve better results in your work and interpersonal communications. Remember that this knowledge should be used within the framework of ethics and morality, without deceiving anyone or exploiting human weaknesses. With the right amount of empathy, honesty, and conscientiousness, the skills can become powerful tools in bringing your ideas to fruition for everyone's benefit. Thus, become more knowledgeable and wield it for good. Try this. Avoid hasty judgments by delaying snap decisions. Discuss and ask for feedback from people you trust to gain more perspective on concerning issues. Listen to your intuition and double-check the facts when you sense something is wrong. Enhance your understanding by reviewing the Persuasion summary in the Headway app.